Welcome to my channel, and I'm here to inspire you, give you crochet advice, and help you along with your next project. If you enjoyed this pattern, please give me a thumbs up or even comment so I can gauge your interest. It helps me to know what to film next. I'm not very formal. Here's today's zinger. Looking around my yarn room, you know what? They say a crocheter should never reveal the size of their yarn stash. Oh jeez, I just love yarn. Let's get on with today's tutorial. Welcome back to the Crochet Creative. So it's my friends over at yarnspirations.com. A pattern by me is called the Bubble Hearts, and these hearts can be flat and they're still three-dimensional, or you can fill them with some stuffing before you get to the end and you can have nice inflated bubbles. Maybe great for mobiles, decorations, anything like that, maybe even for Valentine's. And we're gonna get ourselves started. So you'll need a 4.5mm size G crochet hook in order to play. That could be also a US 7. And what I'm using, just value yarn, Karen 1 pound, and I'm gonna be demonstrating it in yellow. Also 2 stitch markers would be handy, and if you are wanting to stuff, a little bit of polyfill just to put it on the inside before you finish. We're gonna show you how to stuff today too. Let's begin. So let's begin. We're going to make an adjustable ring. It's also called a magic ring. How you're going to do that is that you'll place the yarn in front of your hand like this. And let me just zoom you out a little bit. There's some stuff on the desk here. And I want you to just use 2 fingers and just take the yarn that's leading to the yarn ball around the bottom and then up over top and across like this. Okay, so you're gonna place it in your hand. Just keep 2 fingers out, down and over, turn your hand over and cross. We have videos on magic circles if you need that. Use your 4.5mm hook and you're going to go underneath the first strand here, and then you're just gonna loop onto this one here and pull through. And before you finish, just turn your hand back over and slide out your fingers, and keeping the ring like this, and keep the strand with it and chain 1, and that will lock your ring. We need to make 2 magic rings, or we need to make 2 circles. So this is gonna be the first one of 2, and I'll repeat this again when we get there. So let's begin first round. We're gonna go in a complete circle, so we're not gonna do any kind of slip stitching with this particular project, so you'll use a stitch marker for that. So just, you've already chained 1, so you're which is already locked, and I want you to go around the ring making sure that you trap over top of these 2 strands here, and you want to chain single crochet a total of 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So we now have to close this ring. So pull this loop up and take the hook out. Take the strand, the short one, and pull on it, and this will form the center of your circle. So pull on it and turn the circle over, and you'll need a tapestry needle for this. When I demonstrate it the second time, I will not be as slow. So you're just gonna put this onto a tapestry needle. If you do not fasten this off with the tapestry needle right now, this will come out. So you just wanna go across, so this is where it's ending, so you just wanna pull that strand into this side, going back over, just slightly different path, back in the opposite direction. Stay on the inside of the stitches, and then finally one more time back across. And now you can safely get rid of that tail end. Now before you move on, put your hook back in, but grab a strand first, so just like a stitch marker, and do you see where that I finished right here? Slide the hook from the back end to the front and pull a piece of yarn through it. That's called a stitch marker. If you have stitch markers, you can use that. And now you can put this back on, tighten it back up onto your hook, and you're now ready to begin the first round. So let's begin. Let's begin round number 2. So in round number 2, each stitch around is gonna have 2 single crochets. So right where the stitch marker is the last stitch. So if you're not sure which one you need to start with, you can count back to 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. we're gonna be going in a continuous circle from this point. So coming into the first one, just reach on over and put 2 single crochets into that one, and then 2 single crochets in each one until you get to that last one. So I'll just do that. It's gonna be tight. That's the point. Those magic circles can be used for tops of hats. If you ever have an open issue when you do your chain work, it's a great substitution. And then finally, this is the last one, so you'll put in 2 single crochets in that one as well. But before you move on, just pull up a loop so you can get to it. See this straggler right here? I want you to go into that last stitch and pull that through, and therefore you'll see it next time. And that was round number 2. In round number 3, let's expand the circle a little bit more. So in the first 2 stitches, it's just gonna be 1 single crochet. So 1 and 2, and then the next stitch is going to be 2 single crochets into the same one. So 1 and 2. So that's the repeat pattern. So the first 2 are on their own, so 1 and 2 by themselves, and then the next one is 2 into the same one. So 1 and 2 into the same, and you'll repeat that again and again. So the next 2 are by themselves, and then this one is 2 into the same one, and if your math is right, you should always end up in the same position. So the next 2 are by themselves, and the very last stitch around, it should be 2 into the same one. That means that my counts are correct. But before you move on, move that stitch marker up so that you can see it again in the future, and we're gonna move on to the 4th and final round. In round number 4, starting in the very next one, you're just gonna apply 1 single crochet in each. I would count it to make sure that there is 16. So let's just do that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and the one marked is the last one. That should be 16. Move that stitch marker up. You will use it in the future. And because this is the first one of the 2, I want you to slip stitch into the next one only, and that's where you're gonna end this yarn. So keep a long tail because you'll use that later. And just pull through and put this off to the side. We have to make another one of these, but the next one we're not gonna fasten off at the end. Let's make one more. So let's make another one. We're just gonna create a magic ring. I'm just gonna go at regular speed. So it's exactly the same information. Chain 1 to lock. Let's begin the first round. So it's gonna be 6 into the same one, or same circle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Once you get your 6, take that tail and you're gonna pull. Turn it around. Grab that tapestry needle up, and we want to secure. So you go through once. Make sure you do pull it tight. Do not interfere with the edge as I mentioned before. Stay on the back side of the work as well. So my point being is don't put the hook or the needle too deep. So going back and forth a total of 3 times, you're good to go. Grab another stitch marker, put it into the last one, and pull through. And now you're ready to continue your journey to the second round. Let's begin the next round. In round number 2, it's what you already know. If you're not sure, count it back to the 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It seems obvious, but sometimes you have to count. And so you'll apply 2 single crochets in each one of the stitches all the way to the stitch marker. So there's 2 in there. I put the stitch counts on the written pattern just in case you need to know that. There will be a total of 12 stitches going all the way around, 12 single crochet. The counts actually matter, so make sure you are paying attention to that. So this is the stitch marker, so it must be the last one, and then move up that stitch marker again to that round, and you're now ready for round number 3. In round number 3 we're going to expand. So the first 2 in a row are by themselves, so we say 1 and 2 are by themselves, and the next one has 2 into the same one, so 1 and 2. The next 2 are by themselves, so 1 and 2, and the next one is 2 into the same. The next 2 are by themselves, so 1 and 2, and the next one has 2 into the same. Okay, the next one is, and the next 2, sorry, are 1 by itself, and then the next one has 2 into the same one, which should be the last one that is marked with your stitch marker. And that was again round number 3, which has already been demonstrated before. Pull your stitch marker through and let's do your final round. So let's do your final round here, number 4. Do not fasten off at the end of this one. So it's just gonna be 1 stitch in each all the way to the stitch marker. There should be 16. So let's count those out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Now move up that stitch marker because you'll need to see it in the future. This stitch marker now will be used going forward for the remaining of your heart, and now we're ready to begin the body of the heart. So at this point, I didn't say this, but what this is it's one side and the other of the top of the hearts. Let's continue now, and you'll need both hearts to get ready, and or both sides of the heart, and let's begin that next. So moving on to round number 1. Round number 1 is the most critical round of all. So what we have to do is that we have to start, make sure your stitch marker is in so that you can find it when you get back. We're gonna go all the way around this piece, but we're not gonna do it all in the beginning. We're gonna do a partial. We're then going to jump to the next one, go all the way around that one, and then jump and finish around this one. To do that, you're gonna do the first 8 single crochets on this one. So let's count those out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And before you move on, we're gonna come here. Now I want you to leave this straggler so it falls down and on the outside. So just look at these as like humps. And I want you to come into the one that's marked with the stitch marker. Okay, so come into that one. So that's gonna be your first one. Do not interfere with this with that straggler, and I want you to single crochet that one. Pull it tight. We're going to use this straggler that's dangling to pull things together at the end. So that was considered 1. So you move to the next one, and you got a total of 16 around. So we're gonna count a total of 16. So the next one is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. And this should take you to the stitch before the marked. This one that's marked on this one you can now remove, so you don't get confused in where you are. Leave this straggler on the outside, and so now that you have that done, you are now going to move on and you are going to jump. So just look where this is joined and start with the next one after, and there should be 8 single crochets that are left. So just make sure it's nice and tight. You have this hole that will be left in the top. That's why this strand is being left. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. This is where we started. We're gonna pull this up and pull the stitch marker through so that we can always find this into the future. So there should be a total count of 32 stitches all the way around. If you want to verify that, you can, but I verify it on the next round, which is round number 2, which I'll start right now. In round number 2 here, we're going to just put 1 single crochet in each stitch, so we're just gonna follow it completely around. When it gets in the middle here, it can get kind of dicey, so just watch those and I'll count those with you. So 1 to 32. So starting in the first one, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. It's gonna jump over. So this is the 9th one. 9 and 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, and 32. So my counts are right. So in the last one, move that stitch marker up, and that was round number 2. I'm now gonna start simplifying going forward. So this is what it looks like right now. So now going forward, I'm gonna give you the simple repeat, and you'll repeat what I'm telling you all the way around. So in round number 3, you're going to put the 2 together, and to have the best way to do it, let me just bring it in and show you this really neat tip. So what I want you to do is that we're gonna do 2 together in the first 2. If you go into the stitch regularly and do that with a single crochet 2 together, you end up with a lump. But how to avoid that is that if you sneak into the first one, just come up and just grab the front loop only, then come into this one right here, the next one. So just rotate your hook and collect the next one. So they're now both into the same. Okay, so let me show you again. That's why the heart looks seamless. So you're coming up, grab the first one, rotate the hook, and grab the second. It's easier now that I did it once. Now you're gonna yarn over, pull through, and pull through 2. And that was the 2 together. So you're gonna do 2 together, and then the next 6 are in the regular stitch work. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And so you're gonna do that 2 together again. So that's 1 repeat. So you'll do it again, the repeating. So it's gonna be 2 together. So come up the first one, come to the next one, pull through, and then pull through 2. So that was your 2 together, and now the next 6. So I want you to continue to do that. There's a total of 4 times that it repeats. So you've already done it once, you're doing it now twice, you'll do it 3 and then 4 times, and maybe at the beginning of the round. And I'll be back in just a moment. So I'm coming up all the way around. So this is 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that 32 count of the last round is so important. So you're gonna carry up that stitch marker again, and now you're gonna move on to the next part, which is going to be round number 4. In round number 4, we're gonna start getting even smaller, so we're eliminating out stitches. So you're going to start off with 2 together. So do what I already showed you, that technique, and pull through 2. So that was 2 together. Now you're gonna do the next 5 in a row. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then you'll repeat what you already know. So the next is 2 together. And then the next 5. Please do that same repeat going all the way around. I'll be right back in a moment. So I'm now all the way back around, and I just finished with my 5 in a row, and now we're gonna move on to the 5th round next. 5th round we're gonna get even smaller, so we're just gonna put the first 2 together. And then this time around the repeat is going to be 4 in a row. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then the next 2 together, and then 4 in a row. Please do this all the way around. This is round number 5. So this is the end of round number 5. We're now ready for round number 6. So let's continue. In round number 6 we're gonna continue getting smaller. So if you want to kind of fold it down so it just becomes easier to manage, it's up to you. So the next are gonna be 2 together, and then it's going to be 3 in a row. So we have 1, 2, and 3, and then we'll do the next 2 together, and then 3, and etc. Please do that around. This is round number 6. Okay, just come around to number 6, and I'm now ready for number 7. So number 7, here we go. So let's begin number 7. We're going to apply some stuffing after this round. So you're just gonna put the first 2 together, and then the next 2 are gonna be by themselves. So we have 1 and 2, and then the next 2 are together, and then the next 2 by themselves. Please do this all the way around. This is round number 7. I'll be back in just a moment. So at the end of the 7th round you still have enough space that you can put your fingers in there. So if you do want to apply some stuffing, now is the time to do it. You can stuff it as much as you need to. I wouldn't have the stitches explode, but give it some nice texture. The stitches are pretty tight because of the hook that I assigned you. And just go on both sides of the heart. And actually I think that's enough. So now I'm going to continue as we move on to the 8th round next. In the 8th round the first 2 are together, so single crochet 2 together, and then the next one is by itself. So single crochet by itself, and then 2 together, and then the next one's by itself, and I need you to repeat that then all the way for round number 8. So just finish the 8th round. If you don't think it's stuffed enough, you got a little hole that you can still probably get a pinky through pushing some fingers depending how thick your fingers are. And now the final round, and making sure that I did move up my stitch marker, is going to just be a regular single crochet in each of the remaining stitches left, and there's only a total of 8. So if you want to count that, it's up to you. So 1 and 8 takes you right back to the very beginning. So now this is where the story is going to end. Create a long tail, and I want you to pull that yarn through. You can take out your stitch marker, and what we wanted to do is seal that bottom piece off. So using your tapestry needle, we need to collect the stitches that are left, so all 8. So just start going around and start just zigzagging in and out of those stitches. And what I like to do is that I like to pull it closed at the end of the rotation. There we go. So now I'm gonna pull on it, and it should, and help it if you need to. You can move your stuffing around to kind of fill in that space down near the bottom. Now what I want you to do is just seal this off. So just create a little tie, and then what I do is then I take this needle and I take it up through the heart, and I just pop it out somewhere else, and then slightly different path. It's the same color, so it's gonna be pretty much invisible. Go right down to the base again, and then back up, and then pop it back out somewhere else. And that's where I'm gonna end that yarn. Okay, so now you can see that there's a hole at the top. This is why this other yarn's there. So let's seal the hole. So the strand that you had left over, I want you just to carefully dragging it through to both sides of that piece and kind of pull on it. Try not to let that so it stands out. Just pull. Turn it around, and now you want to go across and then back across, and now it's closed. So I'm just gonna work this so that I can get a little tie to happen. Now if you want to at this point use this maybe as like a decoration, you can secure it so that you end up having a loop if you want to, and if you want to get rid of it completely, then what I like to do is just in a different spot just go on down, and it's like I showed you before, come out somewhere else. If you have other ways and you prefer that, make sure that you exercise your own creativity. And then I go back up, and then I go back down again and out somewhere else, and then that's where the story will end. So if you want to apply it to a lapel, you could use like a safety pin on the one side, put it on, wear it, you know, hang it, attach it to something. It's completely up to you, and you can have these little hearts, and these are little bubble hearts by me, and hopefully you have a great day. So you can see it's the same pattern, just one's stuffed and one's not. Have a great afternoon. We hope to see you again real soon right here in the Crochet Crowd. Bye bye.